Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. We are getting closer and closer to finishing our office makeover. Everything that we ordered is finally in and we're missing a few more pieces. So today I'm actually going to DIY some projects for this space to really fill it up. And before we get into it, I want to thank Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. I just got my first box in, so I'm excited to show you guys it. And I'll talk a little bit more about them later and share a really awesome discount code that they gave me. If you've been following along, you know that we've been working on our office makeover, and this is actually for Brian. He is the other half of this channel and works really hard on our videos, so he needs a dedicated space to work and relax and get creative in. And this is the first time that I'm decorating solely for him, so I'm learning a lot more about what he likes. And a couple months back, we went to Restoration Hardware and he fell in love with some of these side tables. But what he didn't love were the price tags, so the one that we were specifically eyeing was $1,150, which is definitely expensive for a side table, and I know that Restoration Hardware has really good quality, and I actually told Brian that he should get it because he deserves it and should treat himself, and this would definitely be one of those investment pieces that we would have for years to come. But instead, he said that it would be a lot more fun if I DIY'd it and tried to dupe it myself, and he thinks that he would love it even more than the original because I made it myself. So that is what we're doing today. I'm going to build this table from scratch and also a few more DIYs for this space, so I hope you guys are excited for these projects. I'm always up for a game plan, so I'm going to get to sketching and we can get started. This is gonna be our tabletop. If you watched our hallway makeover, this is actually one of the doors that we removed, and I believe it is solid wood, so this is what we're going to use for the tabletop. This is a great way to repurpose some old material, and all I really have to do is to cut out a small corner of this to make a square. I think I'm gonna be using my circular saw today. I haven't brought it out in a while, so I'm a little bit nervous, but we're gonna get this done. To get started, I'm measuring everything out, and I'm actually gonna make this a little bit smaller than the original. That one is actually quite large at 22 by 22, but I'm going to make a smaller and taller version just to fit our needs better. So initially I was cutting it down to 15 by 15, but once I got my circular saw going, I quickly realized that this door is in fact not made of solid wood. This is a wooden hollow core door, but I was still determined to repurpose it anyways, so I went along with my plan. And after I had the square cut down initially, I just worked around the issue by cutting it down even more so that it would basically hit along the edge of those supports. That way I would have a more even edge so that I can create that solid concrete look. But if you are working with any other material, you definitely do not have to worry about all the extra steps that I had to do to get here. Okay, so it turns out this is not solid wood, so I have to do a couple of extra steps. If you're using just a plain piece of wood for this project, you do not have to worry about this. But I cut it down now so that there's a little bit of a lip here, so I'm going to fill that up with cement and then let that dry down, and then that way we can cover the whole surface and make this look like one piece. So the idea here is to make this look like one solid slab of concrete, and we're gonna give the concrete something to stick onto with some mesh cement board tape. I used this method previously on a DIY cement pot and it has held up so well over the past few months, so I think it's gonna work well for this project as well. So we're gonna cover the whole entire surface with this. For the cement mixture, I followed the instructions and did roughly an 8:1 ratio of cement to water. This is gonna be a little bit more runny than the cement that I usually make, and since this is used for repairs, it has polymer in it, so it should not crack as easily, and the cement itself is also more fine. I'm gonna pour that right on there, and using any flat tool, you can just spread the cement around to try to get it as evenly as possible. You can go over it a couple of times to cover up the mesh, but I found that this actually dried kind of quickly, so you only wanna mix a small amount at a time. And the reason that I'm using this method versus creating a solid concrete slab is to save on materials. So instead of having to use heavy bags of cement, I'm able just to use a little bit at a time and spread it out to create this faux slab look. I'm only focusing on the top part for this first coat, and then I'm just gonna let that dry down completely. Look what just got here! My Thrive Market order is here and I'm so excited to open it up. I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing here. my god, it's so nicely packaged. So I mostly grab snacks in this box just because I've been on a snack kick and they have so many amazing options. So I grabbed some nuts. I also grabbed some of these chips that I'm really excited for. These are coconut oil, sweet potato chips, and then popcorn. Oh my god, I got this giant bag. I've been obsessed with popcorn lately, and this one is a really delicious one made with coconut oil and Himalayan salt, so I'm excited to try it. Ooh, and I also got some skin food from Willetta. I've been hearing so much about this brand, so I'm so excited to try this. Here's a closer look of my box. They have a little pamphlet here, so this is very helpful to see what they're all about. What's cool is that for every membership, they actually give back a membership for someone in need, and this makes shopping for healthy and organic foods more accessible for people. So I love that. And then inside the box, I have a bunch of snacks over here. Very excited to try these. They are chocolate covered hazelnuts, which sounds amazing. If you guys have tried this, let me know how you like them. I just have some essentials over here. So my favorite brand, I love Bob's Red Mill, but I can't get it by me. So this is awesome that they have it on there. And I make a lot of overnight oats. So this is definitely going into my pantry. And then I have some other things for overnight oats and also my favorite, which are dried organic mangoes. If you haven't had these before, you definitely need to, especially now that it's getting warmer out. I'm seriously so excited to start using Thrive Market, and if you're not already familiar with them, they are an online membership-based grocery store, and they are on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everyone. You can shop for thousands of the best-selling organic foods and natural products below traditional retail prices, and if you do find a better price elsewhere, they will match it, which is super awesome. You can get everything you need delivered straight to your door, and they have an amazing selection of organic groceries, snacks, and supplements, and they also carry eco-friendly cleaning supplies, so I grabbed some of these wool balls for laundry. And as I was shopping, there's a really helpful filtering option on there, so they make it really easy, and you can shop by over 90 diets and values, including gluten-free, vegan, keto, women-founded, and so much more. Their monthly membership is $9.95 a month, and they also have a yearly membership option for $59.95, which is only $5 a month. Thrive Market is actually giving you guys 40% off of your first order with my link down below, and you'll also get a free gift worth up to $50. For my free gift, I got a cookbook and some other cooking goodies, so I'm really excited to dive into this book. And I'll have all the info down below so you guys can check it out. So while that's drying, I'm gonna get started on the legs. So I got these 2x2 lumber pieces. These were only $4.40 each, so they were really inexpensive. I had to do a lot of math to make sure that this was going to fit our tabletop perfectly. I'll break it all down for you guys as we go along, but basically we need one box frame that is mitered all around, and then we're basically going to duplicate that but then cut it in half so that it'll fit around the main leg. It sounds a little bit confusing right now, but I have it all planned out in my head and also on paper, so let's get to cutting. When it comes to these legs, I'm essentially creating 3 different parts and then putting them all together to create a modern box look. The main part is going to be a frame with mitered edges, so I'm cutting 45-degree angles for each piece of the wood. The horizontal pieces are going to be 2 inches shorter than the tabletop, so that way they can sit 1 inch in from the edge. And height-wise, I'm going to make this table 20 inches tall. That way it's going to sit perfectly next to the armchair that we were putting in the office. For the other part of the legs, we're basically creating that same frame, but this time it's going to be cut in half to make room for the piece in the middle. That way it creates that nice cross shape. So the vertical pieces are going to stay the same, but the horizontal pieces are going to be just a little bit shorter to account for that. To attach everything together, I just basically used some wood glue, and I used a corner clamp to screw the 2 corners together. The wood glue is going to create such a strong bond, and when used with the mitered edges, it just makes a really solid piece. So these legs are going to be super sturdy, and this was actually my first time using corner clamps. It was definitely worth the extra monies. It made it so much easier for me to screw in and kept everything in place nice and squared. And if I want to make more complex projects, I definitely need to invest in these extra tools that will help me get there. This corner clamp was pretty affordable, so I'll link this as well as all the other materials for the projects down below. I really have been trying to ease my way into learning new ways to DIY furniture, so I really hope that showing you guys these techniques will make it a little bit more approachable and also encourage you to do the same. To complete the build, I filled up the gaps with some wood filler and then I gave it one last sanding. Good morning, you guys! It is a new day. I'm about to check on the concrete table. I haven't looked at it since last night, so I'm a little bit nervous. Hopefully nothing cracked. It looks good so far. Oh, okay. This turned out pretty good. You can kind of see the mesh a little bit through, so we'll have to sand and then do one more layer. So hopefully this only takes 2 layers, but it really depends on the look that you're going for. So I'm going to stain, put on another layer, and then I'm going to get to the legs. I'm really excited for that because it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. And after everything dries, I'm going to be able to assemble it all together. So this project really doesn't take too long. I added a second layer of the cement and I put it onto the sides as well. So at this point, our tabletop is really going to look like a solid piece of concrete, which is exactly what we want for this project. This is definitely a great way to get the look for less while using less materials as well. I have faith that this method is going to last, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated in the future to see how well this holds up. Alright, so everything is dry now, so I went and sanded it down just to make sure that the surface felt a lot smoother. And at this point, if you wanted to, you could add on another layer, but I thought this was looking pretty good, so I just sealed it with a waterproof top coat and we were good to go. I can't believe it, we made legs. I think these look so good, and now I'm going to stain them. I was thinking about distressing them a little bit, but I noticed that the original isn't really distressed, so I'm going to try the stain first. So I have classic gray here, which looks like it matches the photos, so I'm going to try that on a test piece first. But yeah, I'm just so happy, and these fit perfectly together, so I'm just so excited. After testing out the stain, I added wood conditioner on there just so that the stain won't get super blotchy. And then I decided that I would just give the wood some color first with my special walnut stain. This is the only stain that I have in my collection right now that has a deep color, so I just used what I had, and I feel like more often than not I have to mix different stains to get exactly the look that I'm going for. And to achieve that look, I went right on top with the classic gray stain. This just made such a difference to get that cool tone color that I was really going for. It was the perfect combination and totally ties back in with the cement tabletop. This combination is going to pair really well with the cement look, so I was really happy that I got this to work. I wanted to show you guys the difference because here is the gray without anything under. You can see it's still very pale underneath from the wood. And over here is the special walnut on its own, very orangey. And then here is the special walnut with the classic gray on top. So you can totally see the difference there. By combining these two together, I just got the perfect shade, and I might even want to do one more coat after this, but so far it's looking really good. I did end up doing this combination of stain 2 times just to get it a little bit deeper, and these were turning out better than I could have imagined. So after that second round, I just went ahead and sealed it up with some poly and dried it down. Oh my god, time to put these together! Okay, so this is going to be the basic shape of them. I'm going to screw and glue them together first, and then attach it to our tabletop. First, I have to find the center of this, so I'm gonna put some tape, measure it all out, and then make sure that everything is aligned correctly. It's finally time to put this all together, so I'm going to use some glue and then some screws. That way it stays on there nice and tight. I'm loving how our faux concrete slab looks. I'm just going to flip that over and then try to find the center point so that we can get this on there. I'm so happy with this side table build. The color of the wood just turned out so perfect, and the cement top looks so modern and rustic at the same time. I love all the textures going on here and how it ties together so nicely. This is gonna look so good in the office, and now that I've revealed it to you guys, let's see what Brian thinks of it. Are the socks over there in the frame? I put it under this blanket for dramatic effect. Okay, here's the review.
Oh.
Ta-da! It's a table.
This is so good, babe.
Yay, I'm so glad you like it. Guess how much I made it for? Why are you knocking it?
I want to see how sturdy it is.
It's literally like what my dad does.
I can literally picture putting like my coffees and stuff on here. Oh my god. We went to an outlet. It was $1,200 and it had like a piece missing. Yeah, that was $1,200. How much did you make this for?
Like $20, I think.
I love it even more now. No, for real, this is crazy.
Obviously, I made it taller to fit.
Yeah.
Like the couch that we have or the armchair that we have, because the one that we saw at the store was a lot bigger. Was not gonna fit in the space, so.
No, this is crazy. I like it because this one's actually taller and it's more functional for me, so.
Yay!
I love it.
He likes it! Okay guys, so moving on to the next project, I wanted to create something with some scrap wood, so I thought that I would make a clock. Clocks are a very officey type decor item, so I'm going to use some scrap wood to make it. And this project is very much inspired by this photo that I saw on Pinterest, so we're gonna create something similar. I grabbed a clock kit here, so I wanna figure out exactly where I wanna put it on this piece of wood and then cut it all down. To start this project, I'm finding the center of the wood and I'm just going to drill in a hole that's about the same size as the clock kit. And once that's all into place, I'm tracing around the box and I'm using that as a guide. Okay, so here's where things get a little bit tricky. So the thickness of this little clock is way smaller than the wood that I want to use. So what I'm gonna have to do is basically inset it right here. So I'm going to use a chisel to cut that out and then make sure that it goes just a little bit inward so that this will be able to fit. So once I cut that out, this is gonna sit snug in there and then this little part will be sticking out on the other side so that we can get the little hands for the clock through. After learning how to chisel last week, this is only my second time chiseling something out and I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. You first want to start off with the perimeter and then go inside the middle and score some lines, and this is just going to make it easier to go in from the sides and chisel out the center. I basically repeated this process layer by layer, taking off a little bit at a time. Using something like a router definitely would have sped up the process, but I'm not sure if I need to add one to my toolkit or not. If you guys at home have one, let me know your thoughts on it, and if you think that I should get one or not. I'm not sure if it's worth it depending on how many projects I can do with it. This part definitely takes some patience and a lot of trial and error, but I finally got it down to fit. And we basically want to make it thin enough so that the tip will fit through the hole, and that way you can get all the hands on top. Now that I can see the entire layout of the clock, I'm going to cut it down to size. And after that, I just sanded it down just to make this old piece of wood feel new again. I'm just so happy that I can find new ways to repurpose scraps. And at this point, you can go ahead and stain it if you like to. I asked Brian if he prefers the natural wood or something a little bit deeper, but he really liked the pine, so I'm keeping it as is. To actually hang the clock, I'm putting on these little screw eyes, and that way you could just put some twine in there and hang it up. I'm just going to use some hot glue to keep this in place so that it stays nice and sturdy. And just make sure that it's straight. Okay, looks pretty good. Smallest to biggest. This one first. Okay. Look at how cute this is. I'm gonna put in the battery now and hope that it works. Pop it in. Is it working? Oh my God, do you guys see that? It's moving. Oh my God, it works. I made a clock. It's so cute. I love it. Now that everything is in place, it's time to put it all together. So I put in all the little hands and made sure that it fit perfectly and the clock was ready. This modern and minimal clock makes such a statement. I love that it's exposed with no glass and just makes it feel so much more elevated. And what's really fun about this project is that you can customize this and totally translate this idea onto any item to create your own DIY clock. So there you guys have it, my RH dupe for less. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm just so happy that I was able to create 2 DIY projects with scrap wood laying around. So I hope this video inspires you to take a look around and repurpose some of the items that you might have laying around your house. And again, thank you to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to get your first box for 40% off, make sure to click on my link down below. If you'd like to see more from me, you can follow me over on Instagram. I post on there every single day. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!